This is what you need to know about those massive tariffs that have been imposed on almost every country in the world. Tariffs are here, and I had to dig into it. I had to figure out how these things work. Who's winning, losing, who's making money off of them. I've got some tips for you, things that you need to do today to take advantage of what's happening with the tariffs. It's May 5th, and it's time for a tariff update. I did a post a couple of weeks ago about the tariffs and how they're coming, and things are constantly changing. It's a beautiful day in May 8th, 2025, and we're going to pay a visit to one of the capitals of consumerism, the shoppiest place on earth, and I'm talking about, Costco, one of my favorite stores. We're going to take a look inside and talk about how the tariffs might affect your shopping experience, even if you want to pay a bit more money despite the tariffs, and what we could be seeing here in a month or two. Let's go inside. We're coming up on the 2-month anniversary since the Day of Liberation, as the administration is calling it, when sweeping tariffs were made on almost every country in the world. So it's time for an update. Let's go take a little walk and I'll tell you what I mean. Okay, looks pretty nice out here. Not too windy. So let's talk tariffs. Basically, some country gets a tariff slapped on their goods that they send to the United States. Say a 25% tariff. Seems like that would hurt them. Well, we don't have any control over how much they sell their product for here in the United States. So what we can do is, we can raise the price of that product by that 25% gets added to the cost of the product. Let's say it's a $1,000 television set. Now it's going to be $1,250. But we can't make this other country pay more or less. They're just selling us the product. What happens is that 25%, that $250, comes from the consumer, the American consumer. It's a tax on the American consumer. We have to pay more for that television set. So now that television set is going to cost 25% more, or $1,250. But here's the kicker. Who gets that $250? It's our government. The US government is taxing us, the consumer, our own consumer, in order to hurt the other country. It's a weird thing where we're almost held hostage to hurt the other country. We're caught in the middle. And the reason we're here on the Pacific Ocean, because way over there on the other side, I'll show you what I mean. Yeah, over there, somewhere, there's China. Should be sending lots of container ships here to the US. And guess what? They're not. This is the 5th of May, and the tariffs have sort of been talked about for now a full month. They're actually taking effect, and that's something I want to talk about, what it means for them to take effect. These are still standing. In fact, they've even gotten more serious than they were before. China is one of our major trading partners, of course. In fact, one of the trading partners for the world. And we're imposing, 125, 140% tariffs on China. Shipping traffic from China is down 60% at this point. And we've barely gotten started. So this whole supply chain is already coming to a halt. Now, you may think, hey, this isn't so bad. I'm looking at prices, they're not going way up yet. They say that the tariffs should have started, I think maybe it was this Friday. That was the official date that the tariffs started. But what does it mean to have the tariffs start? Well, that's when they actually get applied to the goods coming into the United States. But here's something you probably didn't know. If they're on a ship coming here, the tariffs don't apply to them. The tariffs only apply for goods that have left the port, the foreign port, after the tariffs have taken effect. Because it takes 3 to 4 weeks for ships to come across the Pacific The containers leaving China and arriving in US ports, we haven't yet seen the effect of the tariffs. In other words, the ships that left 3 or 4 weeks ago didn't have the tariffs imposed on them. But they are now. Now they're starting to come to the US. And as I noted before, traffic is down 60% already. Things are just starting to shake out. It's going to be kind of serious, and we are not feeling any effects right now of what's going to be happening. Also, here's another thing. Our current inventory in the US, usually for goods, 5 to 7 weeks. So we have 5 to 7 weeks worth of goods, and that's going to be pretty nice. But those are going to start to run out, and you're not only going to see higher prices, but even if you wanted to pay for things, those things are not going to be available. Wow, in 2 months, it's May, June, July, man, right around July 4th, Independence Day. If this keeps up, it's going to be very grim and a very unhappy scene. Okay, let me give you my take on this. This is not sustainable, these tariffs. It's a mess, and there's no way that any administration, any government can live with the displeasure of the voters, the population, when the entire economy is in this turmoil. Things have got to change. Maybe the tariffs are going to get rolled back a bit. Maybe they're going to get rolled back a lot. But the real impact has come with all the indecision. Businesses are not making any commitments as far as hiring or buying product, or certainly not, they're not planning any new factories or plants. They don't know what's going on. And that's a problem. And that's been a problem for a long time. I mean, wow. It's sort of like the entire US is dealing with an abusive alcoholic parent who does crazy things and then maybe tries to make up for it later. It's going to be scary, and it's going to be an era of uncertainty and fear. I hope things get better. I don't know exactly how this is going to work as far as getting better. These tariffs cannot be sustained. People will not allow it. I hope sane heads will prevail. So anyway, that's where we are. The big takeaways are this. Number one, shipping is already down. At the beginning of May, shipping is down 60%. People don't know what to expect, businesses in particular. Number two, we have a 5 to 7 week inventory here in the US, and then we're going to start running out of things. All that traffic coming to the US, all those goods, they're not going to refill the store shelves. So even if you wanted to spend the money, you're not going to be able to find the goods that you want. And that's going to be another problem. And number three, I don't think this is sustainable, but we'll see who blinks first and what sort of changes are made, and if we can ever get back to normal again. A lot of economists are saying that that's not really in the cards. We have killed the goose that has laid the golden egg for the United States, making us the most prosperous nation and the most dominant nation in the past 100 years, and we've squandered that. We'll see. I hope that these people are wrong, but that's where we are right now as far as the tariffs. Okay, got my card here. Better get a cart. Gonna fill this baby up. Ooh, oh my! Look at the TVs. That's amazing. Oh my! Only $299. Oh wait, that's the sound bar. The TV's $1,450. Beautiful, beautiful. Look over here. Oh my gosh! All these goods, everything like that. They're not infinite. There is a limited stockpile of these goods. Sure, we're used to a continual stream of beautiful products coming from China and other places around the world to find just what we need here in the US. But the problem is that that pipeline is being shut off because folks over in China, the people with businesses here in the United States, like Costco, they don't know what prices they're going to have to pay for things. They don't know if people are going to buy them. The prices go up 25%. How much of an item are they going to sell? They don't know. So they're not making any decisions anytime soon. It's a real issue. It's a real problem. So all of these items that we see in the store, that they have basically only a 5 to 7 week window in their warehouses. And if that gets shut off, you're going to see items start disappearing. And even if you want to pay the extra 10, 15, 20, 25%, you're not going to be able to pay that money because the items are not going to be here in the store. Yeah, all these goods here and everything, all these shelves, they are not infinite. They're constantly restocked. So maybe you're thinking like I am, that these tariffs can't really hold. The current administration is going to have to change their tune about this. They're going to have to roll them back. And maybe the spigot will get turned on again and all these items will come back. But here's the problem, is that even if things get turned back on again, it's a pipeline that the goods take 3 to 4 weeks to cross the Pacific. It takes time for the boats, the ships to be loaded with containers. It takes time for the containers to be loaded and put together, and then put on a boat, and then shipped across the US, and then get unloaded in places like Long Beach and Los Angeles, and then get shipped to the store. Already that pipeline is being turned off. Even if minds get changed and tariffs get rolled back, we're still going to be hurting a lot, and we're going to find this going on for quite a while. And I hate to be a bearer of bad news, but there you go. Hard to believe that all of these items are at risk of just going away. Take care. Let's weather this out together. Visit us at bestplaces.net and hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see what else is coming with tariff news, advice, updates, and other cost of living information. Okay, this is why I'm actually here. Oh yeah, what do we got here? Ooh, yeah. Yeah, I think the mocha freeze, that's gonna do it for me. The tariffs are finally taking effect. I've been talking to businesses and people all over, and yeah, they're finally hitting. And prices are being raised, regretfully. But businesses have to do it to keep going. And those are being passed along to the consumer. The foreign countries are not paying the tariffs. You are. Basically, they're attacks on the American consumer to get you to stop buying stuff to hurt the foreign country. Now, this is actually taking effect. And this is, China has economic problems. It has to, like a shark that has to keep swimming and has to keep eating all the time to stay alive. That's what China has to do. It has to keep selling product. And if it doesn't, all the thousands, the millions of companies over in China are going to be suffering, and they are suffering. I guess this is sort of like a game of chicken. The United States needs to buy things. China has to sell things. Who's going to get hurt more and who's going to get hurt worst and first? I don't know. But I do know this, that the fallout is going to affect all of us very much. It will affect us sooner than we think, and it will affect us in a very bad way. Housing prices are going up, and basically the new housing starts are being delayed because the cost of building a house is going up. And you think, okay, why is that? Metal, steel, aluminum, what? No, it's timber. 75% of all softwood timber uh, that the United States uses to build houses comes from Canada, and there are high tariffs placed on that. So just the cost of building a house is going up as well. It affects so many people in unexpected ways. And the worst part of all is it affects people in the US that can least afford it. The less money you make, the more on a razor tight budget you're on, and you can't afford any higher prices in rent or gasoline. Prices of cars, even crummy used cars, prices are going up because car prices overall are going up, and it trickles down even to the used car market, even to the parts. To keep those used cars going, they come from China, and those prices are going up. So it's not a pretty scene, but the tariffs are finally here and they're affecting us. Now, the second thing is that we have an inventory in the US, about 5 to 7 weeks from what I've been told. And we're starting to see cracks in the supply chain. Things I've seen ordered are taking a little longer. Inexplicably, things that would come in 2 or 3 days are now taking weeks, and maybe they're saying next month. Well, I'd be surprised if some of these things ever get delivered because those container ships stopped coming. In fact, they figure the amount of container traffic coming from China to the U.S. is down 70%. And maybe it's down even further by now. But that means we don't have the goods coming to the U.S. to supply our needs. So the prices are going up. But you might be surprised that there's sales going on. Prices, in some cases, are pretty darn good, and it looks like there's a lot of inventory. But what is happening is that these retailers are trying to move product because actually over in China, things are kind of on a tightrope. They have millions of businesses that have to keep selling. They have to keep selling product to the United States to keep their workers and their factories going. So they're taking advantage of this to try and move the product here in the US while they still can. But as I pointed out before, container traffic over to the US has fallen over 70%. But here's the weird thing. There are sales around. There's stuff that's available, and it looks like, 20, 30% off. Well, that's because companies in China have to sell. They're really nervous about the pipeline being shut off. Here in the US, we want to buy things. Over in China, they want to sell things to us. Whole thing is being disrupted. So while there's still inventory here in the US, the foreign countries are trying to sell as much as they can to get as much money as they can while they can. So that's why sales are going on. An international business court, I forget the name of it, has declared that America's rationale for some of the tariffs is not allowed under their jurisdiction. What does that mean? Are things going to get rolled back? I heard this one thing where if this prevails, then the U.S. is going to have to repay the tariffs that have been paid before against the legislation of this international business body. My first thought is, yeah, good luck with that. Somebody buys something and it's an extra few dollars in a tariff for this item, and suddenly that extra $2 or $5 or $10 is going to find its way back to that consumer. I don't see how that's going to happen. Another thing is that the United States, the administration might say, we don't want to abide by the um, findings of this international business body. We don't want to go with it. We're not going to listen to them, so they can just go ahead and mind their own business. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens a bit. So, who knows where this is going to go? The main thing is this with the tariffs: it's tremendously confusing. It's gotten more confusing. Tariffs have been imposed, tariffs have been reversed, tariffs have been suspended, tariffs have been altered. Nobody knows what's going on. Businesses don't know what to do. There's not going to be any investment. It's going to drive up in interest rates. There's going to be less and less business happening. It is a mess. And even if they were said, oh, we made a mistake, we're going to reverse everything, the problem is the U.S. has sort of, we've killed the goose that has been laying the golden egg for everybody. And this is another analogy. We can't put this toothpaste back in the tube. We can't unring the bell. Things are going to be a mess for a long time. And I think all over the world, people are not going to trust the U.S. anymore to try and do business in a good way. And that's going to make all of us suffer for a very long time. So what can you do about it? First of all, if there are things that you really need or really want and they're available and they're a good price, especially if they're on sale, go ahead and get it, because I don't know when those will be available again. They might stop making it altogether. The factory might go out of business, but prices are going to be higher, and maybe worst of all, even if you have the money, there are going to be shortages and you're not going to be able to buy that item again. So look around for sales. You'll be surprised what's out there. Look around for availability, snag it, buy it. Okay, but here's the other thing. Don't go nuts. Okay, I've read some of these things where the people are, gosh, I don't know, they're buying up. I saw this one where they were buying up a refrigerator full of eggs. You know, when eggs were a shortage. Other people have their houses filled with items that they're buying that might have been made in China or wherever. Yeah, come on. We've all got a life to live. And if it means paying a few dollars more, not having something, you're going to have to make that decision. But don't go nuts buying a bunch of stuff just because it's going to go up some or it's not going to be available. Life will go on. And, your quality of life is worth something. And I just think having every room in your house, as I saw in the news, this one person had bought up all the stuff he's going to need for the next 2 years because it might not be available or the prices might go up. That's no way to live your life. So be smart. Look for the ones that make the most difference and change in your life, and try to target those items and get those and have them for you to use later. Anyway, we don't know what's going to happen with the tariffs, but things are a mess right now, which I kind of think is the way the U.S. administration wants it to be. They want everyone to be nervous, everyone to be uneasy, unbalanced, but it's not. Trust me, it's not a good way to be. And we'll see where it goes from here. But we're going to be right here at Best Places. This is Bert Sperling. Check us out on bestplaces.net for all the information, cost of living information about places to live. We're here to help you, and we'll see you later and give you an update about tariffs. Bye-bye.